Hey, I'm Sarah,
Hey, and I'm Raven.
and this is City Culture.
So how fun is this?
I
Doing a
mean,
podcast.
it is so insane that we're able to do this, that we have this opportunity right now.
I know.
And I'm so grateful that we are both on board to just take advantage of this and make it a good thing for
And just talk and share
Yeah.
information
yeah.
with the world. of Ocean
We're gonna
Springs.
start with Ocean Springs and see what
Look,
comes of it.
We could be international. Don't set our boat.
I'm not limiting us. Don't
There.
worry. I would never do that.
Yes.
We can do anything.
Well, tell me about you. I met you a year ago, right?
Has
I've
it?
been here a little over a year.
Oh my God. Well, the crazy thing is that you knew the city world
Right.
and you came back into it.
Mm-hmm.
But you came back into it after I had already started here, and it was my first year here. So grateful we are the same age and can connect, because I come from the art world and we all speak a little different language.
Let's be clear. We are the same age, but you are older than me.
I know, like literally a few months.
Like 6 weeks.
Oh, not even a few months.
Not even a few months.
But I am your elder, and that is why you should listen to me.
But so like, you came into this world, the Mary C is now, under the city. And
Yes.
so how does that feel? Like, how do you feel about bringing culture into, people think government's so stuffy.
Right.
Like, how do you feel about that?
I am so grateful for the opportunity, and I will not let this be something I take lightly. Connecting with artists, local creatives, creative entrepreneurs has been just sort of this natural passion. And then being hired by the city, I only want to continue that mission with all the department heads and city hall staff and our maintenance crew that does anything and everything for us in our city. So,
but you've worked in this building before.
So yeah, I've been
As an
curating.
artist.
Right. So I've been curating the Local Creatives Art Gallery for, 5 years now, and started Local Creatives back in 2017. And I moved here in 2016 from Jackson, Mississippi, and brought my design studio down. And I had a design studio. We make furniture and art. I still have it. And we moved it after almost 3 years in Jackson. And so my family has always had a home in Biloxi. Katrina took that. Mom permanently moved down to the coast when I was about 19, and then I came on down around 25. And so, I spent the first 7 years here connecting with creatives and working in my studio. And so that can be kind of lonely. So you want to make sure you're connecting and you've got a network of people. And with that network of creative entrepreneurs, we had shows, we supported each other, we had meetings, we had dinners, potlucks. It's just that all of that is where all the creative energy and the brainstorming and the collaborations begin, and really wonderful things were happening, like immediately starting to work with all the different organizations in Ocean Springs, Mississippi, and not only art organizations but local businesses as well. And that was just like that immediate connection to the people here. I mean, we have a special thing here with our community. We know that there's a lot of people here who are incredibly hardworking and just good people, supportive of one another. So it really wasn't hard once we got the Local Creatives Gallery into the Mary C to just sort of flourish, blossom, from there. And it's not me; it's all of them. They make everything happen. And that same theme with just one room in a gallery has expanded now into this massive, beautiful building. And so every inch of it is being utilized, by our local creatives, our partners, our community in one way or another. And it's a beautiful thing that's already happening so quickly. And I'm so grateful for the team that has been built since I became the arts and culture coordinator here.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it without them. They're all incredibly skilled, and we've just got this mission to connect creatives with the community through arts-based education and experiences. And now, I can push that mission through this team, and they're wonderful. But then I also have this team with the city, and they're wonderful. My boss is the mayor and board of aldermen. That could be really intimidating to some people.
It's 8 people.
Yeah. I mean,
all at the same time.
How do you make 8 people happy?
I don't know.
That's a good question for you.
I'm still trying to figure it out. No.
But you know what we do? We form relationships with them, and
oh, for sure.
We get to know everybody, and we get on their level, and that's how an art world and a government world can begin to speak the same language. It's so funny sitting in meetings with city people. Since the Mary C is under the city, very well taken care of,
right?
Very open to the community. I think all of it's been very positive, and if we can just kind of keep that energy going, it's only going to grow and be better. But sitting since the Mary C is now under the city, I now sit at these department head meetings with the fire chief and the chief of police and the planning department of the city.
But it gives you a chance to learn what's going on in the city outside the Mary C, because it's
only broadening.
Yeah,
it's only broadening all the opportunity that can happen here.
Right.
And putting those people's faces in front of who's actually in the building at the Mary C, connecting those people. I see the city is proud of the morale behind it, the mission behind it. I see that they are making an effort to connect with the arts community, the community in general, more and more. And we're all excited about what's happening at the Mary C, the way the building is being historically renovated.
Yeah.
Everyone's very we treat this building like a family member, like a mother.
Well, it is. It's been here forever.
Yeah.
I mean, people have raised money to renovate this building. Our mayor goes to Jackson to get money to, do the windows.
Do all the things. all the things. And that's what's so amazing about this experience for me, this position for me, is that working with the mayor and board of aldermen and them caring about the details. Mm-hmm. You don't know that side of things unless you're in it.
Right.
And it's not just the mayor and board of aldermen. It's the city clerk. It's the
Mm-hmm.
deputy clerk. It's the lady who writes our checks. They all have the city's back.
Well, we're invested.
Yeah, everyone's invested. Mm-hmm. and can find that common ground, no matter if you're from the art world or from the government world. We have that investment, and that's what the community has along with us. Mm-hmm. So I love that we're doing this right now, and that we get to have these conversations and bring these guests on from, city and culture topics, and have different people having discussions and finding that same voice.
Well, when we talked the other day, we were, trying to figure out what our tagline was going to be and what the mission. You're like, what's our mission statement, Ravin? What's our mission statement? But, you're talking about it. It's the bigger picture. It's all these entities and these people mm-hmm. that are invested in this arts community. But, how do we grow? How do we be bigger? How do we showcase our small town charm and keep our small town charm?
It's connection.
Right.
It's all about connection. And it starts with mine and your relationship, what we're inspiring from each other, and, what energy we give off, and what we do with the opportunities at hand.
Right.
It's so beautiful. It makes me so happy. So, you and I have something in common. We both have businesses outside of our positions.
Yeah.
So we're both creative entrepreneurs outside of our positions, mm-hmm. Which I believe is only, a positive to it. It's a bonus to the position.
Right.
They are lucky to have us.
Well, duh.
So, you have a business, an events business.
Yes.
Talk to us about this, and how do you balance being the assistant of the mayor and board of aldermen with keeping your consistent business running?
Yeah, it's
every weekend you have a wedding.
Insane.
It blows me away.
It's insane. It is. So when I came back, they knew that I had a business. I've always been into event planning. My degree is in event management, so I really can, do concerts, band management. That kind of is, what my focus was. And so then, I got a PR degree as well, because
band management, that is a totally different environment than being in the mayor's assistant. Like I mean, but your office is literally connected to the mayor's office.
I had classes where, we learned how, like, if I was a road manager or a band manager, that's the same thing as, trying to corral 8 members, our city council. When we go to Jackson, come on, everybody, get in the car. It's time to go eat. Call your spouse. No, but, you pick up skills from everywhere that kind of just, you just roll with it.
They resonate in the next thing.
Right.
I love that.
So, event and wedding planning is really just project management. It's
the same thing you're doing with the city.
Same thing. Yeah. So keeping things on a timeline, keeping things on a budget, learning what needs are and how you can reach them, and, that kind of thing. Communication.
Holy moly. Holy moly. And keeping your cool.
But it's fun. It's fun. I love being the assistant for the mayor and the alderman.
They're great. They're great people.
And, you mentioned I was here at the city before, and then, I was a little younger.
Yeah.
So I wanted to grow. I was in that mindset of, I got to leave Mississippi, to be great. And
what did you learn about coming home to Mississippi?
I love being here.
Right.
Like, I love the community here. We lived in Pensacola for a little while, and it was so hard because the community wasn't there. I lived there for 2 years, and it was hard to be immersed in what was going on. And so coming back home, walking to route. Well, no one's walking to Rouse's, but
especially you. I know how much you don't like to walk.
They don't need to know. Just going to the grocery store and seeing people and getting phone calls, or, hey, are you going to the Mardi Gras parades? Let's meet up when we get there. That kind of just interaction that's outside of our, day-to-day job only helps as well.
It becomes a part of us. And I think that that's where our culture, the direction of our culture is going. Like, I begin to miss my local people that I see when I go eat lunch at the Government Street Grocery, and I sit at the bar because I like the people who work there. I want to talk to them when I'm there. And, like, that is what you get when you go anywhere in Ocean Springs, even outside of downtown. You're going to run into someone, or you're connected with, the hospitable service industry, or, the local businesses. There are so many local businesses here
throughout town.
And everybody is supporting each other and working with the city to create these incredible parades and events for the community. Since the city took over the Mary C, we now have all of our holidays here. And we blow them up, and they're so fun. And we collaborate with different parts of the community. So, you know very well about Spooky Springs at the Mary C. That's now happened twice in the last 2 years, and it's only become a bigger production, turning this building, this beautiful historic 1927 building, into a haunted house, and utilizing our incredible theater department at the Ocean Springs High School,
which I think is so cool because it helps the connection not only with the theater department but with the school district itself.
Exactly. And so we have that whole experience together, that production together, and then throughout the rest of the year we're hitting each other up, oh man, we're fundraising to go to Scotland, can let's do another show, let's do this together. And it all benefits. All benefits. And like, what's so wonderful is the opportunity to work with the kids. They're so professional. They're so dedicated and so passionate, and like, that's that continued inspiration and energy. Like, I'm always trying to draw into this building with our partners. And like, that idea is being infiltrated. It probably has been already infiltrated for a long time, but I do feel like we're making a difference lately, with sort of like, for instance, you and I team up and we love on our city people. When we have a Christmas party, you and I set it all up, and we love on them, and we make it really special, and we pull our partners in, and we have a chef cook something really beautiful, and we have our musicians that we had at the cemetery tour this year that we put on come and play. And so we're all getting back together and just reconnecting, even when it's not for $1.
Yeah. And you mentioned that, connecting with other partners, I'll help you, you help me kind of thing. But I think what is also fun is, having that connection to help put somebody forward. So, you talked about the theater kids that help with Scary C, but, the Mayor's Youth Council who invest, volunteer, servant, leaders, young in our community. But, I feel like a connection to them to help them when they leave here so they'll come back.
Absolutely. And you're their leader. You're their leader. I mean, that's such an amazing part of your job that, like, I honestly didn't even realize until, you were like, well, hey, they need volunteer hours. And then we kind of like started pulling together, and until it's kind of in your face, it's hard to understand what is being offered there. And they have been absolutely priceless. They come in, the focus and the passion, just like with the theater kids. It's easy to work with them. It is not the same as like having volunteers who are like bodies that don't actually do anything, which we don't have those. We have amazing volunteers. But I'm just saying, like, there is like a pricelessness to, what we're building through our youth, through our creatives, through like what the mindset we're kind of like trying to have a platform for. And it's normalizing things. It's normalizing helping each other. It's normalizing trying to understand even when you don't. It's normalizing being a hard worker. Work smart, not hard. And like, I'll show you, Mayor's Youth Council member, this is how we do it to save time. This is how we do it to not hurt your body. This is how we do it to keep our mental health, and that's what we're doing with our programming here. That's kind of like our instructors. We get together and we talk about like, what's our relationship with these students, and like, what are we teaching them beyond, the skill, and that infiltrates into like this conversation we're having here. What is this going to bring to the city? What conversations are we opening up right now?
Yeah. So some of my favorite things is not only with the Mayor's Youth Council, because, their goal is to, show them kind of how city government works. Right. So I believe like, you show them, make them invested, then they'll advocate. They'll say, hey, we have this in Ocean Springs. I love my hometown. I want to go back. I've had many Mayor's Youth Council members like, yeah, I'm going to go off and be in D.C. for a while, but when I'm ready to start my family, I'm coming back to Ocean Springs because I love it so much. But it's the same thing with, working in our city with all our different, not even just department heads, just the employees in general. Investing in them, and so they know how our government is working, how our city is working to progress in the future. Absolutely. And then they go out and advocate.
That is literally the Mary C's business model with these partners. They come in and they love the building. They're excited for the opportunity to utilize the space. And we're our partners. What we're looking for are people who kind of already have it together. They're putting a branch of what they're already doing into the Mary C to share with the community, right? And it super benefits them. And yes, it helps the building stay alive and stay maintained. And that is like this. That is what the city wants for this building. That's what the city wants for our town. We want it to be utilized. We want it to be taken care of. We want our community, our partners to be invested, right? And so it's just that continuation of, what direction is our culture in Ocean Springs going? We've got, a banging nightlife these days. This used to be the place to come and retire. And now we're like, well,
we're growing.
We like to go out Tuesday through Sunday. And we rest on Monday.
That is not the Lord's day.
Our day of rest is Monday.
It should be Sunday.
And I got a lot of energy sometimes, so I like the live music, and I love to walk all over. About that.
You like to walk everywhere. You would walk onto the east side of town if you could, if there were sidewalks.
For sure. I have biked, and the sidewalk ended, and it was very scary one night, but it's okay. So
let me ask you this.
Yes.
So you're traveling to a new town.
Like Guatemala.
Like in the United States.
Oh, okay. I just said
what do you plan for activity? So you're in this culture. Like, how do you immerse in culture in another town?
Okay. That's a great question.
Thank you. I thought of it just now.
Good job. So I definitely always, I want to find out like what the locals are doing. I definitely hit up any art museum, art gardens,
Yeah.
any immersive experiences. I recently went to Las Vegas and went to the Meow Wolf experience, immersive experience.
Meow, like meow?
Yeah, like Kit Kat.
Kit Kat.
Anyways, yes. And I mean, so that's showing you like what the artists are doing, what they're thinking in that town, right? And they're doing some things, because that was like you walk through a freezer and then suddenly you're in a cave and the entire space is totally different, and the mountain or the cave is made out of like glitter, and it's just so stimulating, so I'm looking for stimulating experiences, like what kinds of food is their forte in that town,
right?
Just like when you go to New Orleans, you're gonna hit up like some bisque and oysters, and all the good things. So that is what I look for. And then, like, again, I like to walk. So I'm just walking, taking in the architecture, just watching how people are living and interacting.
It's funny how our brain works, because, you're walking and bebopping around, like we like to say, looking at the culture. And I'm walking around thinking, wow, I wonder how they got this money to make this park. Or
man, they really need to fix that pothole.
That pothole, where are these sidewalks? Who's the mayor of this town?
I swear my mindset's changing, though. I think those things now, too.
Yes, you just think, you're like, how can I bring this that they're doing to Ocean Springs? I went to, not Nashville. I think it was, I did go to Nashville to visit a friend. And we brought Benjamin to this park, and they had all these seesaws everywhere, and it was just huge seesaws. Kids were getting on, and blah blah.
The seesaw park.
It was like, but they had like vendors everywhere else, but they just brought them in to this green space, and then they'll leave in a couple weeks. I was like, oh, we could do that. Like, it'd be a couple weeks out on Freedom Field.
My brain's like, where is that going to be stored, and who's going to set it up, take it down?
It's a company.
Oh.
The company comes into your town and sets up these seesaws. It's just an attraction, and then they leave. It's like,
and is that like something the city plans, or it's like a sponsorship, or like,
I don't know.
That's the beginning of the thought process.
Well, of course. I mean, in our perfect world, we would find a sponsor, or because it's free. It's a free thing for the public, so you wouldn't want to charge your residents to come and ride seesaws, but they would definitely come, and you just have local vendors or local artists around the seesaws, almost like an arts and crafts festival.
Like it's an installation to the festival.
Yes.
I love that. I love that. And there are some things trying to happen like that around here that I've noticed. There's been some community gardens put up, and sort of like the way that they're composed, it's almost sort of like you're in a new environment, and that takes thoughtful design, and planning. And I know that in Ocean Springs, public art is definitely a priority.
Oh, for sure.
Thanks to HOSA and maybe even our new historic group that started. There's lots of groups starting that are focusing on our trees or our history or our businesses or whatever, and like that is, I mean, we're the same, we're just simply trying to make things better too, you know. And ultimately, I think with this podcast, our goal is to normalize talking to different people and begin to speak similar language, speak the same language. We do. We may say things differently. We talked about this, but we're saying the same things. I mean, you see that. It's a pattern in life. You see that in religion. You see that in families that are live in one state versus another. You see it in an office space. But ultimately, are you in a position where you're working towards a passion? Is that passion enough to trump any of the little silly office drama or, these things that people feud over, politics, all that stuff? Like, what is the drive? And are we keeping it positive? Are we thinking about, everybody, not just ourselves?
Yeah.
And And that I love that we talk about these things all the time.
We do. And, I think what's also fun, and it shows in our relationship, just about talking to each other about what's going on in a different platform. So, it's hard. The city always has all these projects going on all the time. And, we put out a press release, and it's basically, the what, when, where, why. It's very like, this is going to happen and this is how it's going to affect you. But, bringing it into a platform like this and bringing people in, it kind of showcases a little bit more of what's going on. Well, what's the reason behind this project? How did this project come to fruition? What's funding it? Because people don't always understand what funds projects, capital projects in the city. It's not all tax-based. We get grants, we get funding. And so bringing it to this kind of platform where people, it's more of a conversation. It's more like,
of a conversation. It sort of takes the authority away, and it just makes everybody see everyone as a human.
Right.
And like, it's hard to get to a point to even put an announcement out. Like, so much work goes into whatever you're announcing, and then we got to think about, how did we announce that? Is that coming off the right way?
What words are we using?
Right. And and you and I, when we do have these conversations all the time, we are trying to accomplish something that may take a very long time. It may take pulling certain people together, whatever. There's frustrations in that.
Yeah.
And, like, I think that, not only us, we have other people in the city that we work with that, I see those relationships happening. I can connect to that, whether it's about engineering or planning or whatever. I can still connect to that because I'm watching these people work together, and they're putting their feelings aside or their frustrations aside, and they're like still continuing to focus on the goal. And that is, that's a really like nice thing to be around, to sort of like obtain that discipline and like mature and grow as a person. We are in our early 30s.
That's right.
And
you're a little older.
We're both getting a little older, let's be honest. Okay. But we're in our 30s, and we are surrounded by so many people who can influence us. But you know what? We're influencers.
What?
Oh God, I never wanted to be an influencer. But now, if this is the way we're influencers, I'm so proud of that.
Yeah, for sure.
So I just want to say thank you for doing this with me and trusting me. And because I know you don't normally keep your phone. When I call you at work, you don't normally keep your phone on the speaker because you can't trust what I'm going to say out loud.
I just want to say that you're not the only person in the city that I cannot put on speakerphone. So,
because we call you about all the problems.
I know, and I'll say,
and you keep
you're
a
on
beautiful
speaker.
face about it. Yeah, you do. You're on speaker, Sarah. Got it. But you just keep good energy. And I know there's days you get frustrated, but you know what? You say it. You're just like, I'm in a bad mood today, and I do that too. That's why we connect so much. But I'm glad we're real about it. We're not like putting on a fake face. We work through the problems. We have the tough conversations.
I think, and what's fun is that we connected so early and so quick. I don't know if it's our age or what it was,
our
focus or wanting to grow. So, you and I are very invested in how the city grows, whether it's through the Mary C, whether it's me through like just the city as in PR and how we're communicating with the public and with our partners. We just both have this vision and this focus, and we see the bigger picture. We see the goal.
Is that our tagline?
The bigger picture. Yeah, I keep throwing it in there.
City culture, the bigger picture. You were always coming up with a tagline.
Girl.
What's that one about Ocean Springs? Keep it cool.
The place to be.
The place to be. It's
the coolest downtown.
The coolest.
But our tagline is the place to be. That's what we're
That's
working
it. On. Yeah. Not cool. There's no cool in there.
We are cool.
There's cool on our fans. What is that one? What's that tagline?
The coolest town in Mississippi.
Something like that.
Because we were named.
Oh, we were?
Yeah.
Man, so proud. And, we're made up of so many different types of people. It's so eclectic. And I love seeing a guy in a suit talking to, like, the hippie. And they're just, like, like having a drink together. And they're just, like, breaking down something. I don't know. They're just having a conversation and just excited about it. And they're from completely different worlds. I see that all over Ocean Springs.
Yeah. But you and I, we not necessarily work in different worlds. I was chuckling to myself the other day, and you came to me and say, how do I say this very diplomatically? Give me the words to use. And, I would come to you and be like, I need to make this art thing. Tell me how to figure it out. And being able to trust each other. And I think that's hard for people sometimes to be able to say, I don't know. I can't do the things.
Yeah.
Let me just go to Sarah, who's going to tell me where to go if she can't help and how to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
And so as our city grows and people are invested, I hope we have more of those conversations of people just calling and say, hey, I can't do this by myself. I can't figure this out. I don't have the bandwidth. Can you help me?
Yeah.
So we can grow together.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more.
Good.
Yes, I agree. I believe that I see that a lot, actually. I see that, and it's stunting. It's stunting to look at someone and know they're in their head about it and like offer the help,
Right.
Not necessarily they don't want to receive the help,
Yeah.
So how do we change that? There's all these different things that it's like maybe if we just put the right people together on this show, the guest, that we'll get to that point and something will click with someone and it'll make a difference.
When I interviewed for my position to work as Kenny's assistant, something that has stuck with me, and I've heard him say it several times, throughout this, he'll say, my goal is not to be the smartest person in the room.
Yeah.
There's no way. He said, I can't know everything. He said, my goal is to surround myself with people who are experts in their field.
Mm-hmm.
And so all I have to do is go and ask, well, how should we do this thing?
Mm-hmm.
How do we get from A to B?
Mm-hmm.
Because I know I don't know. And I'm not going to pretend to know.
Exactly.
But I want to be around you so you can help guide me.
And I think it takes a very mature person to delegate in that way.
Yeah.
Everyone has a strength and a weakness.
Mm-hmm.
And I think people are drawn together because they see their weakness and the strength that they want maybe in someone else.
Mm-hmm.
So, that might be a little bit of why we were drawn to each other because, you definitely know how to speak the language of politics.
Right.
And, I definitely know how to run a business, but I have to speak a certain way for everyone else to understand.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it's good. After like a year and a half, I'm going on 2 years in March, being in this position, I definitely have learned so much. My eyes are so much more open. All the people that are now in my life, my work family,
right.
They hold a place in why I am who I am now.
Mm-hmm.
And I was always working by myself and just with my business partner, just the two of us,
Right.
and you can do amazing things that way because you're so focused. You don't have all these distractions. But then, like, gosh, I've been so stimulated. I've been wearing everybody out the last 2 years. I've been so stimulated. I'm like, do you guys know all these resources we have? I'm like calling Public Works, like, hey guys, if you like throw away or like you're like you got all these scraps and you just think about the Mary C and how we could potentially use it, like that scrap could become a prop in a play or it can become something for the haunted house. Like, can you just put it to the side, And I'm just like, we have multiple workshops through, different departments. We have all these people who can write grants and, like help with a drainage problem so that an entire backyard an entire courtyard at the Mary C can be utilized.
Right.
There's just like, it's an endless opportunity. It's a pool of resources that it should be exciting and it should be something that like opens your eyes. And I hope that city employees, whether they do or don't at this point, I hope that they're listening to this and they're getting inspired by us and they're just like, oh my God, that guy in beautification, he can help me with this project,
Yeah.
And, I might be over here at the police department, but, if I connect with him, we're going to make something, special for this moment in town,
So one of my, I've been saying I've had a lot of favorite things today, but I keep just thinking of stuff. So working in the mayor's office, I'm, afforded the opportunity to work with almost all the departments and not just department heads, but the people that are under them,
right?
Which makes, it's crazy because you'll have conversations, we talk about, we're at an event town. There's something always going on here, whether there's a run, there's a festival, there's a parade, there's a pub crawl, there's always something going on.
Yes.
And so then you're like, oh yeah, that's great. This, our city's thriving and blah, blah, blah. But then you talk to somebody in the police department that's like, you know, I don't get to go home with my family because I have to go and work these events. So your mind shift changes. And so when all these events come through, I could be an advocate for them on the front end. Okay, so who, you know, do you really need police during this? Like, or get on their calendar early so they can plan time with their family.
Exactly.
You know, that kind of stuff. And I've just been so excited this time around working here, learning or getting to know more people that I just deal with every day coming through City Hall.
You don't deal with daily, yeah.
Right. And, you know, we've been doing these chili cook-offs and smoke cook-offs here at the Mary C. And
for the department.
So, you know, the goal is for, you know, more employees to come out and to interact with each other because, you know, I can tell you, like, you know, you and I do things together outside of work. So, you know, we go have a drink, we go eat, you make me walk downtown. I mean, we connect. And so it's easier for you to call or for me to call you and say, hey, I need help. Can you help me? Well, of course, because you and I are building a relationship. And so it's important for me and in the mayor's office and the board for all our employees to feel that way.
Yeah.
For someone in building to call here and say, hey, Sarah, I need help because my daughter wants to do something in art.
Right.
And so it's easier for them to call because y'all ate chili together.
Right. Exactly. So I think there's like this standard that's being set where, you know, we work really hard, but we have to cushion it with rest and time to reflect and cushion. That's, you know, you get that with the holidays. I come from private sector. I didn't know a holiday, a weekend, or an evening before this job. And I mean, we work so hard, but I love the forced like cutoff of you go home at 5, you have a weekend. You know, that is not life in my 20s. I did not know that life in my 20s.
Right.
But now, man, you know, it allows you to step back and let some of the people who are not you work towards the same goals. They become, you know, the next department head or the next leader. I see so many people who are leaders. They are leaders.
Right.
We're pulling it out of them, you know. But setting that standard, you know, not only within the business model of like the Mary C. or the city of Ocean Springs, but like right down into, you know, an office space where I care enough about your mental health to not add stress to you, but to ask you how you're doing today and like really listen and not spend the whole day talking about it, but then, you know, just turning around and being helpful. I see that a lot. I see that a lot in city workers, and I didn't really expect it because, you know, when I first got here, I was over here by myself.
Yeah.
And, you know, starting to build partners and build a small team, a Mary C team over here. And then, like, you know, there were only certain things I could hire out, like subcontracted, like a little bit of maintenance here and a little bit of custodial there, that kind of thing. And then, you know, that would drop off pretty quickly that, you know, I couldn't keep it because it's very hard to maintain a part-time position that's like, hey, I just need you to come in 8 hours a day and like fix some light bulbs and things, you know? So, you know, the city really stepped up and, you know, they heard the little things that really do take up time to the overall mission. And they stepped up and stepped in. I mean, I'll never forget back to Spooky Springs after that haunted house, how, you know, I had the city clerk, the head of HR, and the entire like city hall staff in the Mary C helping me clean up from all the installation work for the haunted house. Yeah. And they were like, oh my God, they were so excited to be here cleaning. I was like, thanks guys. You know, they were just as happy as they could be. And then after that, you know, it just kind of opened up like there's seasons and there's downtime. And, you know, we can call on each other. And when it is intense and that season is like our busy season, we can check on each other.
Yeah, for sure.
And that work family is something I never had before. And it's a beautiful thing. And that feeling, that support, we can give that to our community too, you know? So, yeah.
This has been really fun talking.
It's been amazing, and it went by very fast.
Did it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like we covered a lot. You know, a little bit about us, a little bit about our goals for the city and for the Mary C.
And the podcast.
And the podcast.
Don't forget the podcast.
Yeah, so I'm excited to do this with you. And
Me too.
We're going to have 12 episodes.
I know. This was episode 0 of 12 episodes.
Number 0 of 12.
City culture. Thanks for tuning in, guys.
We're City Culture.